Welcome to part 2 of work week. It's Wednesday morning and today I've got the speed oriented session of the week. So the workout today is going to be 4 sets of 4 times 200, where within the set I jog 200 meters, and I'm really going to be diligent on jogging that and trying to keep it slower than 8-minute pace so I get at least a minute of recovery. And then in between each set I'm going to get about 4 minutes of recovery. So I want to start out somewhat conservative. I don't want to be crushing it from the beginning, maybe like 33-ish in trainers or something like that. We'll see how it feels, and then I'm going to switch into some new splats halfway in with 2 sets to go, and hopefully progress from there a little bit. And I'm at a different track today. I've been at the same track quite often lately, so I figured it was time for a change of scenery for both me and you all. So I'm at one of the local high school tracks, and I spent a lot of time out here last spring during COVID lockdown doing lots of good workouts out here. So good to be back. I've missed this place. So let's get this workout going. All right, so quick shoe review. The Nike Spike Flat, or Splats as people call them, feels pretty good. It's just a Nike Streak LT with a spike plate on the bottom. I believe it's a Matumbo spike plate, and it's pretty narrow. People always say the Nike spikes and flats are for narrow feet, and I have narrow feet, so they fit me well. They feel good. That's about as in-depth of a shoe review as you'll get from me. So the workout itself, it went pretty well. Just pretty much how I imagined it going as far as effort goes. I was hoping I could finish a little faster, but either way I still progressed through the whole workout, so that was nice. I mean, if you average out the times from start to finish, that's probably, to be honest with myself, it's probably faster than 800 race pace currently, so I'm not sure on that. I don't know what the average is right now and what I could actually do in an 800, but that's 3,200 meters of volume at around 800 meter race pace, so pretty happy with that. And so that's part 2. That's for session number 2 done for work week. Feeling pretty good. And then the Friday session is going to be a bit of a longer session, back to some more like 5K and up specific work. So not exactly sure what I'm going to do for that yet, but probably some type of long tempo or sub-T, sub-threshold, whatever. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But I'm going to go cool down now, and then I'm going to be back with some a little discussion about my stance on super shoes and super spikes and everything. So I'm gonna go cool down. I'll be right back. All right, so I'm gonna do my best to keep this as brief as possible. If you followed my channel long enough, you've known that I'm not too fond of these super shoes, and had shared some of my thoughts on them when they first became a thing, the 4% and everything, and you know, talked about how I wanted to do things, and at the time even I just kind of figured we had reached a point where you know, it doesn't matter what we think and what I think, especially, you know, they'll just become too common, and we'll have no choice but to accept them, and that's exactly what's happened. You know, I've reached a point where I've accepted them into the sport. That still doesn't change how I want to do things, mainly because, like, you know, I'm in this for different reasons, and I'm not good enough to where I'm on the cusp of, you know, achieving anything that gives me anything of you know, physical value or anything. Like, I'm in this for intrinsic reasons. So putting myself in somebody else's shoes, like if I was a part of a team still, a college team, and my performances, you know, had more implications as far as, like, maybe I'm trying to make a conference squad, maybe I'm trying to score points at the conference meet and my teammates are depending on my performances, maybe I'm running a time that's on the bubble for qualifying for nationals. If I'm in that boat, if I'm on a college team, it's a no-brainer. I'm gonna get the Nike Dragonflies out, the newest, best super spikes. And then, you know, the same thing would apply on the roads. If I were somebody who was somewhere in the ballpark of qualifying for the Olympic trials in anything, like, but I'm nowhere near that. So hypothetically, let's say the Nike Dragonflies are worth 10 seconds for me in a 5K. What does 10 extra seconds get me? Absolutely nothing. 10 seconds, that's it. You know, if I'm in shape to run 15:10 and I can do those with racing flats that I've always worn, you know, and then I throw on Dragonflies and I run 15 flat, what does that get me other than 10 seconds? It gets me nothing. And the reason I'm in this right now, at this point in my life, I'm 29 years old. I haven't PR'd in anything in over 3 years now. The last PR I ran was my half marathon, which was my first half marathon ever. That was in January 2018. I haven't PR'd in anything since. So, you know, at 29 years old, I'm thinking, like, maybe people say that your distance running prime is like early to mid 30s, which I agree with for the most part, but people do have different primes, and maybe I've already hit mine, but I'm in this right now to see if I can get back to being the best that I can be. They're better than I've ever been, you know, and I'm putting everything I can into doing that, and I'm being honest with myself when I say if I bought the Dragonflies and I went out and ran 14:55, which would be an official 5K PR, I would have this a little bit of I don't know what is the opposite word for satisfaction. There'd be a little bit of, like, discontent in the fact that knowing that I honestly believe that the spikes do make a relatively significant difference, and I wouldn't feel like that I was the best I've ever been if I ran 14:55 with a pair of Nike Dragonflies. So I just want to do it with similar shoe technology than I'm used to. So these new Nike Splats that I just bought, you know, they're not what I would consider super shoes. They don't have ZoomX foam like anything. They don't have any kind of carbon fiber plate. They've been around for a while, just not, like, available to the public, I guess, and I think they're a pretty cool shoe. So I've never been a big shoe guy. You know, for me, it's always been, you know, in college, it's like I find a decent pair of spikes for $40. It's cheap, so I'll get 2 pairs of them, and that'll last me my entire college running career, you know, and just kind of find a shoe that works for me, and that's what I stick with. So if it feels good, it's fine for me, and so basically that's where I'm at with it. So I know wearing these shoes, it doesn't make you have to work any less hard. Like, I don't want to take away from anything, any hard work anybody's put in with any of these super shoes or anything. You have to work just as hard. I do think they help you run a little faster, though. They just help push your ceiling up a little bit higher. It's not, you know, it doesn't take away the possibility of running a bad race. You can still run really bad races in these shoes, but I just think it pushes your ceiling a little higher. So anyways, that's just how I feel about it. That's how I want to do things. And if I can get myself to back to running sub 15 again, if I can get myself to around 14.55 to 15 flat with similar shoe technology that I'm used to, I would probably get the Dragonflies. Like, there's a big curiosity in me to know what do these really feel like, and do they actually help that much. I think they do. I think I have enough anecdotal evidence from just people I know getting them and talking about them and running really great races in them and surprising me and what they're capable of, and I think they do help. So there is a part of me that if I got back to being the best that I can be, I would have that satisfaction knowing that was because of my own work ethic and just committing to it. And then I would just be curious to see, do these things actually help that much? You know, if I went out and ran, I've got a 5K planned in like 3-ish weeks or something. And I don't think I'm gonna PR or anything, but if I did go out and run 14.55, I would buy Dragonflies the next day and go out and run another 5K in 2 weeks if I could find one and everything, just to see if I get a quick improvement there. So anyways, that is, I'll leave it at that. I wasn't very brief there, but that'll be it for the video. So I'll see you on Friday with the third session of Work Week.